Hi everyone, my name is Thomas Kim. Today is September 3rd, 2020. This is my 41st episode about vector calculus and classical electromagnetism. This is also 6th episode about plot graph. In this episode, I will explain how to use JavaScript in C++ programming. Through this series of videos, I explained how to use Qt Toolkit and also how to use JavaScript and also how to use Python in C++ programming. I also explained how to use OpenGL. Through this series of videos, especially episode 36, plot graph 1 through plot graph 5, episode 40, how to use JavaScript in C++ programming. If you double-click this link, you can download latest version of plot graph. Show in folder, unzip it, copy the folder, paste it to your working folder. Then start Visual Studio 2019 or 2017. Go to File, Open, Project Solution. Then in your working folder, double-click it, select this solution, click Open. If you are using older version of Qt Toolkit, you will have such kind of error message. Then, in the Solution Explorer, right-click the solution, Properties, select Qt Project Settings. If you haven't installed the latest version of Qt Toolkit, then this version is not available. This Qt installation is not available. Then you can select older version. Then click Apply. Click OK. Then press Ctrl F5. If you have set up your machine properly by watching this series of videos, you will have no problem building my application successfully. Export function y1 x. X is a variable. We define a JavaScript code here. Return x minus 2 times x plus 3. This is a Java function. We can save now. We have to save. In the sample folder, I will save it, my sample. Then the extension is MJS. I changed the extension. Now save it. Then scan. Then this function is scanned in this list. I will insert another function, export function y2, then return x minus 3 times x plus 2 times x plus 3. This is cubic function and this is quadratic function. After changing your code, please save once, then scan. Now here we can select y1, this quadratic function. The range will be -4 to 3. This is range of variable x. Then click Run. Then this quadratic function is graphed. Now, if you select y2, this cubic function, click Run, this cubic function is drawn. If you select All, Run, this is quadratic function, this function, this is cubic function drawn here. Or you can open a sample file, for example, trigonometric functions. Then this function is loaded. Here, for example, sine 1, this function is sine function. Here, from 0 2 times math phi. We can use JavaScript variables here. We put expression 2 phi. Click run. Then this function is drawn. This function is sine function, sine 1. If you select sine 2, this function will be drawn. For example, cosine 1, this is cosine function. If you select cosine 1, click run, then this cosine function is drawn. If you want to draw all functions from 0 to 2 pi, click, then all these functions, 1, 2, 3, 4 functions are drawn. You can hide the code editor like this, or you can show code editor. For example, open polynomial, click open, then this is quadratic function, this is cubic function, different function. Now from 0 to 5, if we draw run, this is quadratic function, this is cubic function, or you can select quadratic function draw, this quadratic function, you can change the argument, for example, 1, run again, then this function is drawn. If you select this one, cubic function alone, run, then this is cubic function. Or you can change, for example, 1, then run, this cubic function is drawn. Or you can select all, then both function, quadratic function and the cubic function is drawn. This program still has some bugs, but I provide you all the source code here. By reading this source code, also in these documentations about QJSEngine or JavaScript engine, also I used regular expression here. I also used the QPainter. By reading these documentations along my source code, you can completely understand how I implemented this application. Long ago, I spent 3 or 4 years to create my own scripting language. Creating an interpreter or scripting language is very good for educational purpose, as there is a saying, do not reinvent the wheel. Instead of creating your own scripting language, use either Python or JavaScript in your C++ programming, because first off, it is very likely that your scripting language is not as good as the existing scripting language. Secondly, creating a new scripting language is too much time consuming.